Howdy again, folks. Rick from the Boondocking Bears. Been a couple of years. Been a wild adventure. But I'm back. Without Little Bear, but I'm looking for a new Little Bear. So that's the first thing I want to tell anybody. If you know of a little Yorkie that's looking to be rescued or adopted, I'm looking. So I got a lot of a story to tell you, but I'll start with where I am right now, which is the start of my first real journey, first real trip in the last couple of years. Obviously, excuse me, they saved the sight in one eye. Took 4 operations, but they did. So here I am on a trip. And I left Niagara Falls a couple of days ago, and I'm in Mammoth Cave National Park in Kentucky. It's a beautiful area. This is a beautiful park. So I've been here, and this is the start of about a month-long Prius camping road trip. So I'll give you a tour later of the camping setup. You can probably see behind me I've got a clam, which is a godsend. You've got to have a clam if you're going to Prius camp, because like it did an hour ago, it just teemed down rain here. And sitting in the car is no fun. But sitting in the clam, listening to an audio book, hey, that really worked for me. So anyway, this is the Southern Rights, Sights, and Bites month-long Prius camping trip, because I want to follow the Civil Rights Trail down through Tennessee, Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, because I find it really interesting. I find it a really dark part of history that needs to be exposed more, and I find it very interesting. Obviously, I do a lot on the Civil War, and I'll still do those. In fact, I'll be visiting some Civil War battlefiels while I'm on this trip. But this is the Civil Rights Trail. And sights, just because I'm going to see some interesting sights, and bites because I love food, and I'm going to try and find some interesting food. So that's where I'm at, and that's where I'm headed for this trip, and I'll bring you all up to date on I've made a lot of changes into how I do Prius camping. I got to be honest, I didn't find it that enjoyable before. I didn't find it that interesting and comfortable, but there were some solutions, and I've availed myself of all those solutions, including the clam and a bunch of other things I'll show you, to make this more comfortable. I really do like camping, and I do like the idea of what the Prius represents for Prius camping. I can't use an RV because I can't do the maintenance because of my hippy dippies, so I am handicapped. And with one eye, I tell you, everything's a little tricky now. Reading, I carry a magnifying glass with me all the time now. How silly is that? But it's true. Anyway, I thought I would mark the occasion of returning to YouTube with a beer, because I don't drink, but I'm going to have a Miller Genuine Draft to celebrate. Kind of funny. So what's been happening? Well, I think the last I left it, as I was going to have surgery to try and save my right eye, I had to rehome Little Bear because they were pretty sure I was going to lose sight of it, just like I had in the left. It was the same condition. They said, we'll give you the same operation as you did on the left, which didn't work, but we're going to do it a year earlier in development of the disease, and maybe that will work. So the gamble is you want to have sight for a year, but then probably for sure you're going to lose your sight, or gamble that year of sight and have your surgeries now in hopes it works. Well, it did. It took 4 surgeries. They thought it would take 1, 4 in a month, but it worked. And so this eye is safe forever, and I can drive. I still ride my motorcycle. I'll tell you a funny story about that. When I lost the one eye, I went on my Facebook group of people that ride the same motorcycle I do around the world, probably 1,000 people, and I said, can you ride with one eye? I had no idea. Oh, Christ, half the group responded they all had one eye. So there you go. I've got my sight back. And then some other health issues happened. And then the pandemic happened, and I couldn't go anywhere. I was pretty much ready to go when Panini 19, as I like to call it, hit. And so it's been very frustrating. But it's over, and we're back on the road. Now, incidentally, they sell these biomass things as firewood here at the park because they're really conscious of the environment. I've never used them before, but apparently they're going to last 4 to 6 hours. So that's kind of cool. They were certainly easy to start. Anyway, a little different. So I guess the big thing is that I'm back on the road. I'm going to start making YouTube videos again. I spent yesterday in Louisville, and I'll tell you a funny story, how I think these videos are going to go. I was visiting Colonel Sanders' grave, just thought it was something to do. And there was a couple about my age ahead of me, there's only the 3 of us in the area. And she was taking a picture of him standing behind his bust, like he was holding a bucket of chicken. And it was really quite funny. So when it was my turn, I said, no, they hadn't left, and I thought, well, I'm going to do something. So I stood in front of the bust of chicken and said, finger looking good. I can't visit the colonel without it being finger looking. Anyway, they started to laugh, and that got me thinking. So I went to Ali's grave, and I did the boxing pose. And everywhere I go now, I kind of mimic honor what I'm doing. And I'm kind of shy about that kind of stuff, believe it or not. But everywhere I went, people started laughing. And I went, this works. So my videos might be a little different, but the one thing that'll be the same is I love finding unique places when I travel. So this trip I've got a whole whack of really cool places. I was going to tour the caves today, actually. I'm a little claustrophobic, and there are a lot of stairs, so I was a little worried about that, but the park ranger talked me into it. Silly old gal. And over here I have an electric bike I bought to get around in parks like this. When the Prius is tied up, you can't really move it once it's set up. I don't have my motorcycle with me because I didn't want it for this trip. I knew I would do some national parks that have nice biking trails, so I got this electric bike. And it's fantastic. I love the thing, except you had to drive over to the visitor center, and then they bus you to the cave, and the lock, because these things are very valuable to steal, very popular. The lock I had bought, which was good, it won't work. I can't get the key to make it work, so I had to cancel the cave tour. So that was kind of disappointing, because that's kind of why I came here, to go into one of those caves. Anyway, it's not the end of the world. And tomorrow I leave here. I've been here a couple days. Tomorrow I leave, and I'm going to head down to a couple of historic Civil War sites, and then end up in Nashville and do some touring of Nashville, because I've been to Nashville, but I've never really done the sites. And I did find a new restaurant by Guy Fieri I want to try, called the Chicken Guy. So I'm going to try that out. And then I'm going to head over, eventually, I'm going to hit a bunch of places, but head over to Memphis. But anyway, you guys will see this as I put the videos up. So I'm not going to go into too much detail. I just wanted to say that I'm alive and kicking. The eye surgery after 4 shots did work. And more importantly than anything, I'm looking for another Yorkie, a Yorkie mix. I go to these rescue places. They rarely have a Yorkie, but even these other places, breeders and stuff, they want $3,000 and $4,000 for a little dog. Sorry, I'll pay $1,000, but I'm not paying for $3,000 or $4,000. Sorry, that's not going to happen. But if anybody knows anywhere, I will drive anywhere in North America or fly anywhere in North America to get this dog. I really miss Little Bear. He's doing well, by the way. He's with his new family, the retired couple from Welland. And they love him to bits, and he loves them to bits. He's just a good dog. He's just a great dog. So find something like that again, that would be awesome. And I'm going to ask as I go around traveling down here in the south, because I gather they're a little more available down here than up north. So anyway, tomorrow I head out of here, and I will keep you up to date as to where I go. thank you for being patient. I see my subscribers actually grew a little bit, even though I haven't put up a video in a couple of years. So that's a bit crazy. But I thank everybody for sticking with me, and hopefully I can entertain you and keep you informed, and we'll have some fun together. I don't do this for money. I don't have the Amazon affiliate stuff. I don't have Buy Me a Coffee. I don't have all the stuff that you can make money. I do this for fun, and I do it for an enjoyment, and I find it interesting. I really don't like the editing, but yeah, you got to do it. But I do like shooting the videos, and hopefully I can get a little better at it, but we'll see. I invested in some new camera equipment. I invested in a lot of stuff, but most of it to do with Prius camping, so it would be more comfortable, because I wouldn't do this anymore the way I was doing it before. It was just, I'm too restricted to get in and out of the car, even though I'm still doing it. But I put a roof rack on the car, and I'll show you. In fact, I'll give you a quick peek right now. Okay, so this is my camping setup right now. There's the electric bike. It sits on this rack. It's folded down at the moment, but I've driven it from Niagara Falls to Kentucky, and it's a great rack. Keeps it very secure. I love the bike. I haven't used it very much so far. I've only got like 20 miles on it, but it's fun, and it takes you feel a little wonky after all these years not riding a bicycle. I ride motorcycle, but that's a different kettle of fish. So anyway, I got to use it a lot today. I did about 15 miles on it today. And this is a very hilly area of Kentucky. Let me tell you, that pedal assist really helps. And then I got this Napier 6100 tent to go on the back. I know a lot of people use the Habby tent. I like this one a little better. I haven't got it pinned down. Supposed to have this pinned down. And we did have some wind earlier, and it was actually flipping it up. But this ground is very soft, and the stakes aren't holding. So hell with it. But I'm not going to give you the inside tour yet, because it's not really set up for it. But then I got the Thule roof rack, the roof carrying box. And I'll tell you, I wouldn't do this. I would not Prius camp without that, because I carry so much stuff that it's packed into the back and there's no room to sleep. And I found it really uncomfortable, and I'm shuffling constantly. Forget it. I put everything up there. I put the clam. There's the clam. I think it's called the Clam Traveler, and I've got a 6-foot desk in there. I've got a, what do you call it, Jackery generator, 1500. I got my Alpicool, another desk or table. Anyway, it all fits up there. Keeps it out of the way, and I love it. And of course, I had to have a flagpole. I won't tell you what the flag says. I'll let you see it in another video, but it's kind of funny. Anyway, so those are the major changes I made with the Thule and the Napier 6100 and the electric bike. So, there you go. We're back in business. The Boondocking Bears, short a bear. Find me a bear, folks. I would love you forever. I'll even do a feature video on you if you can, if you want. But you know how I treat my little doggies, and he'll have a great life. So, glad to be back. Well, while here, I gotta say, this Mammoth Cave National Park is an interesting place to visit. It's a UNESCO World Heritage Site, an International Biosphere Reserve. And what I gather that means, it's because the extensive caves here were not formed by water, which is a geological rarity in the world, apparently, and because of the rich variety of plant life in the area. It's all interesting stuff. So I took a tour around the park on the electric bike, and afterwards it was time for some supper and one of my favorite quick camping meals. Before leaving home, I like to pre-mix a dozen eggs with southwestern seasoning into a big old Gatorade bottle kept in the mini fridge, and just pour out what's needed into a pan, and presto, simple tasting scrambled eggs with lots left over for other meals. I do something similar with chicken drumsticks. I pre-cook a dozen or so and keep them in the mini fridge until needed, then pop them into the pan, heat them up, adding some hot sauce, and in no time I've got buffalo-style chicken drumsticks to go with Tex-Mex scrambled eggs. Simple, easy dinner with little cleanup needed. It's a man thing, what can I say? So I ended the day with a lovely campfire, listening to an audiobook, and in the morning was packed up and on my way to Tennessee and what turned out to be Alabama as well. So stay tuned for that in an upcoming video. So as always, thanks for watching, smile, be charitable to all, and have a good morning.